Welcome to You Are Your Name. This is Deacon Ariel. For this episode, we're going to share some excerpts from Mr. Parker's book, Man's Greatest Gift, Time. Mr. Parker was the founder of the Kabalarian Philosophy, and he wrote extensively on the Cyclic Law. The first part of this excerpt will discuss the 9 phases of plant growth as an example of how the Cyclic Law manifests in the natural world. So without further ado, Don and Shirley Maxwell presenting Man's Greatest Gift, Time.
What is man's relationship to time and to cause and effect? Time represents the lifespan of all things, the great ages, the birth, life, and death of man, all brought down to mathematical gradations, where a man can count the ticking away of his life, second by second.
It is the only thing that a man can really steal, because he does not create it or own it. It cannot be borrowed nor returned, and once gone or spent, can never be retrieved.
Time, a natural, universal phenomena. To a thinker who realizes the basic reason behind all being, time is a natural unfoldment of life, and therefore best expressed as the law of growth, based upon the principle of seeding and harvest in every phase of life. Seeing that it is a natural phenomenon, its relationship will have to be defined logically, so that its effect will be discernible in the affairs of men.
When you look around and observe the uncompleted plans of men, business programs that never work out as outlined, leaving much unfinished and unsuccessful business despite most detailed agendas and financial backing, you wonder how your planning and time could be so far out. A businessman should be able to plan his business agenda with mathematical and systematic certainty.
The reason he cannot do so lies in the fact that he only recognizes the quantity principle of time and not the quality. A man knows how much time he has over which to measure his efforts for the year, but disregards the admonition, to everything there is a season and a time for every purpose under the heavens. A time to sow seeds in every phase of endeavor.
Rhythms of nature. Now let us discuss this quality and quantity side of life and time. Time is deduced from the rotation of the earth around the sun. This gives us our calendar. It also gives us the seasons, which represent quality, because each season represents quality of weather and temperature in which grow the many species of flowers. Thus does time express quantity and quality, with quantity giving time, distance, and calendar.
Each species of plant has its own season in which it is planted and will not naturally grow out of season. This natural law is applicable to people, who also have their own individual cycle or seasons of time, both quantity and quality.
Scientists have known for many years that the quality of time runs in rhythms, known as the cyclic law. They also know that these rhythms bring certain conditions, such as dry seasons and wet ones, sunspots, electrical disturbances, high and low tides. They affect the breeding and death of animals in their natural habitat, and they denote the migration period of certain animals. Earthquakes, the exact movement of Halley's Comet and other heavenly bodies, the fat and lean years in crops, as well as epidemics such as the plagues of the past, all manifested in certain rhythms of time.
Now, coming closer to home, we observe the changing bull and bear markets in grains and stocks, and what is known to business as booms and depressions in all major industries, in real estate, in general depressions, and the movement in the individual cyclic conditions. These movements are based upon the number 9, the basic rule of mathematics.
Science has known about these rhythms of nature, but so far have never discovered the key that would unlock the exact knowledge of application in a practical demonstration.
All nature comes under the one great universal law of growth, and properly to understand this unfoldment of nature, close study of plant life will reveal the picture. The principle of mathematics is based upon the trinity, or thirds. Thus, 3 times 3 symbolizes 9. The finite scale of natural growth is based upon 9. Thus, we apply it to plant growth as follows. Each mathematical gradation standing for a degree or phase of growth, the number 9 representing the completed pattern.
The pattern of plant growth in each cycle. First cycle, seeding time. The seed is planted in the ground.
Second cycle, duality or division. The seed starts a root and a stem.
Third cycle, manifestation time. Stem appears above ground, it becomes acclimatized.
Fourth cycle, test period. The growth of plant is suspended temporarily whilst the life force is diverted to strengthening the root system. So the plant is tested for coming growth or failure.
Fifth cycle, active growth. Strengthened root system adds power for concentrated growth. Plants sprout, branches, and leaves.
Sixth cycle is budding time or procreation. Buds are formed and fill out, if the plant is healthy, a promise and indication of fruit depending upon care and soil.
Seventh cycle, flowers appear. Plant completes growth of leaves and branches and rests from labor or active growth. It diverts energies to size, color, and fragrance of flowers.
Eighth cycle, fruition. Flowers drop petals and fruit or seed pods ripen. Fruit is plucked. Period of accumulation in business.
Ninth cycle, close of cycle. What fruit is not picked falls to the ground. During fall and winter time, seed pods are shaken by the winds and distribute seeds for the next season and cycle. Fruit lies under leaf mulch and rots, leaving seeds to create a new plant in the spring. Thus do we relate the old cycle with the new to show the law of growth working through plant life.
A natural law for human mind. In the following table, we will relate this natural law to activities of the human mind and to business affairs to show the basic analysis used in formulating a business agenda that will unfold according to natural growth. It teaches how to apply certain forms of business activities to certain years, months, or days, yes, and even to the hours. The plant never slips its growth. Everything is in continuity. The same applies to business affairs.
There may be many phases of business activities in your agenda, such as new business, establishing a clientele through association or advertising. This is the formative period in business. Then there are the new contacts made and the business of becoming established, weeding out poor contacts, putting one's roots deeper, and justifying one's efforts.
There is the period of systematizing business methods, preparatory to enlarging and facilitating one's growth, and preparation for promotion, to benefit from one's efforts in the following period. There is the period in every year when money goes out, almost faster than it comes in, when one is assailed from all sides with bills. This is the period of redistribution of wealth, so as to facilitate buying power. We cannot make a profit on what we owe, so we pay out to complete our obligations.
There is always that refinancing problem when funds for growth are urgently needed. Is the time ripe for borrowing funds? Can one plan ahead on it with certainty? When should one expect the most accumulative period? When should one buy and sell commodities or properties at the best price? When are the times for a successful department sale? How should one analyze the integrity of a business client or his business? How can one tell the future financial conditions of any stocks and bonds? When should one buy and sell? When should changes or mergers be made? When is the best time to take that vacation or have a family or to increase overhead expenditures? When is the most propitious time to meet and interview that special client or financing committee?
Every action pertaining to your personal and business activities must be arranged according to your cycle chart. And your efforts combined with a natural and mathematical law, a divine or universal law, which provides the right time and conditions for your every action.
A key to remove uncertainty. How many business agendas are completed as expected? How much is left to chance and why? If you are engaged in a competitive business, why not use the key that will remove uncertainties and confusion and put you ahead of the gambler type who lives in hopes and blind faith? You are under the cyclic law. I can prove it through your past mistakes and actions.
A plant grows not by chance, but by a natural pattern. Why don't you learn to gain by observation and application to the natural laws, and thus remove the mist from mysticism?
One should know when to make contacts, when to dicker for best results, how to recognize a good, clean deal, whether or not to hold off, for how long, when to collect money promised, when to be careful of a proposition, how to understand and influence clients and business associates.
We'll continue this extract next episode, as the next section is probably the most important for planning your business activities. Remember, you can test the Cyclic Law for free without any obligation. All you have to do is download the Cycle Chart app from either the Android store or the Apple store. Just search for the term Cycle Chart, CYCLE, and the word chart. There'll be a link to it in the show notes as well. Once you install the app, you can set up the free account. The key information that you give it is your month and date of birth, and it will populate the app with your personal cycle. So then you can explore your cycle year, your cycle months, and your cycle days. We'll see you next week. Until then, happy thoughts.